Alright, if you think you have seen energy-hungry characters before, EVANESCIA is on a completely different level. This is not just another DPS with a strong ultimate, her entire kit is built around looping energy and certified banger, back and forth, letting her fire off ultimates way more often than she realistically should. But here's the thing, her damage is not just about her kit. It heavily depends on the right team. The wrong setup and she feels average, but the right one, and she starts chaining ultimates like it's nothing. So in this video we are breaking down everything, how her kit actually works, what makes her so strong, and most importantly, the teams that unlock her full potential. Alright, let's get this video started. EVANESCIA is a 5-star physical elation unit whose entire kit revolves around massive energy gain to fuel her hard-hitting ultimate. Start with the basics, her basic attack is nothing special, and her skill is pretty straightforward too. It's just a blast attack with standard annihilation scaling, but it does generate a solid 10 punch line. The real core of her gameplay comes from her talent. First, like other elation units, she has a conversion stat, but in her case, she gains elation equal to 20% of her total crit damage. This is actually pretty easy to build around, especially since her first trace gives her a free 30% crit rate. It's one of those hidden crit stats that only apply in combat, so when you are building her, you want around 70% crit rate on your stat page, or at least 60%. The second part of her talent is what really defines her. She has a two-way conversion between certified banger and energy. Whenever she gains one, she gains the same amount of the other, and this interaction is affected by energy regen. So technically if she gains 20 certified banger, she can actually get more than 20 energy, depending on her ER. An extra energy gain this way is then converted back into even more certified banger. Now for her energy system, she works similarly to Yunli, with 2 charges on her ultimate and a total cap of 480 energy. Every time she reaches 240 energy, she triggers a follow-up attack from her Fox. This deals both standard annihilation damage and also gives her 10 extra energy. You can actually use this Fox follow-up as a sort of indicator of how close she is to her next ultimate, but keep in mind it only tracks up to 240 energy from a single instance. As for her ultimate itself, it's pretty simple on the surface, an AoE attack followed by 5 bounce hits, all dealing both standard annihilation damage. Then her first trace adds more depth. The number of bounces increases depending on how many enemies are on the field, so the total multiplier changes depending on the enemy count. It's strongest at 5 targets and weakest around 2 or 3 enemies. That said, because it's bounce based, a single target scenario can actually be better for focused damage. Even if the total multiplier is lower, more hits will concentrate on one enemy, making it stronger for bursting down a single target. Finally, her elation skill is also very straightforward. It's an AoE attack that gives 5 energy and a 5 certified banger, which then fits into her conversion mechanic. The raw damage might not look impressive, but because of how often she can use it in her best teams, it actually makes up a big portion of her total damage. So who are her best teams? What kind of characters synergizes well with her? Alright, for the first team we are looking at Elation Focus setup with EVANESCIA, Yaoguang, Elation Trailblazer, and Huahua. This one is actually pretty budget friendly since Elation Trailblazer is completely free, and you can now get Huahua for free from the Golden Companion shop. So the only limited characters here are EVANESCIA and Yaoguang. We are looking at the most meaningful Elation supporter, Yaoguang. Back during EVANESCIA's pre-release phase, she looked like a flexible carry that could fit into both Elation and non-Elation teams. But after changes, she's now much more clearly designed as an Elation-focused carry. With her skill, she boosts the Elation of all allies, which directly benefits both EVANESCIA and the Trailblazer. But the real value comes from her ultimate, since it can instantly trigger AHA turns. That lets Yaoguang, Trailblazer, and EVANESCIA use the Elation skills more often, which means more damage overall. On top of that, it also helps EVANESCIA generate more certified banger, which then translates into more energy. When Yaoguang uses her elation skill, she can also apply a vulnerability debuff to all enemies. This boosts not just her own damage, but also EVANESCIA's and the EMC. And another small but useful bonus, her ultimate generates 1 skill point, which helps the team use skills more often and cycle ultimates faster. Overall, on release, Yaoguang is easily one of EVANESCIA's best team member. Now, I would not say Yaoguang is absolutely required in the same way Super Wolf depends on her for the unique ult gauge. EVANESCIA can function without her, it's just that Yaoguang provides exactly what EVANESCIA wants, and she does it way better than any other option, even if her raw buffs don't look that impressive on paper. From there, we can also talk about EMC, the other Elation support, who fills a very similar role. Elation as an archetype naturally wants to play with other Elation units, and EVANESCIA leans into that even more because of her mechanics. Even though EMC is not the strongest buffer and their ultimate is not as impactful as Yaguang's, they still end up being one of the best partners simply because there are not many better options. On top of that, EMC has some utility that feels tailor-made for EVANESCIA teams, like generating around 20 certified banger for themselves with their skill, and the relation damage scaling off the highest certified banger in the team. They were clearly designed with this team in mind, so it's nice that they actually earned their spot here. Then we have Huohuo. When she uses her ultimate, she gives energy to the entire team. For EVANESCIA specifically, that translates to 96 energy, which also means 96 certified banger because of her conversion mechanic. That's huge. And of course, that extra energy also helps Yaoguang and the Trailblazer cycle their ultimates faster, which loops back into even more certified banger and energy for EVANESCIA. Since her ultimate is her main source of damage, this team works extremely well for her on release. So that's basically the reasons of her most compatible team, but if you don't have Yaoguang, the two solid alternatives are running EVANESCIA with either Sparkle or Sunday, alongside Elation, Trailblazer, and Huohuo. Sparkle gives the team more skill points, letting everyone spam skills more often, which helps with energy regen. She also provides crit damage, and her Figment stacks increase the damage enemies take. That benefits both EVANESCIA and the Trailblazer. On top of that, Sparkle can also advance EVANESCIA forward in the turn order. As for Sunday, he provides crit rate, crit damage, and energy through his ultimate. His ult works similarly to Huohuo's, giving EVANESCIA around 96 energy and 96 certified banger. With Sunday's 20% crit rate and EVANESCIA's 30% from her trace, that's already 50% crit rate. Add her minor traces and you are getting another 18.7%, so she ends up with a lot of crit rate right away. But there's something important to note with Sunday. If you run a 135 speed EVANESCIA and a 134 speed Sunday, a typical -1 setup, EVANESCIA will take turn, then Sunday advances her, then she X again. The issue is certified banger only lasts for 2 turns, so this setup can actually make her lose stacks. To avoid that, you can run Sunday at 161 speed and keep EVANESCIA slower. That way, similar to Sparkle, Sunday will push her forward from behind, letting you benefit from his buffs without losing too many certified banger stacks. Now we also have to mention Sparksy, the other relation support / sub DPS. She can replace EMC, but there's a trade-off. You lose a decent chunk of buffing in those free relation skills, but in return you get much higher personal damage and solid punchline generation. That said, compared to Super Wolf teams, Sparksy feels a lot less comfortable here. She consumes more SP since EVANESCIA actually uses skill points, and there are no SP generating bombs in this setup. On top of that, she also loses certified banger because EVANESCIA takes part of it. So the conclusion here is pretty simple. If your Sparksy has vertical investment, she can be a solid upgrade and worth using, especially if you are not using her anywhere else. But if she's just E0 S0, then honestly, EMC is better pick, assuming you have access to the Trailblazer. There are also other alternative supports that you can consider, like Tribi, Remembrance Trailblazer, Tingyan, and more. Tribi can provide ult penetration and vulnerability. Tingyun of course can help with energy regen. Remembrance Trailblazer gives true damage buffs. As for RMC, one fun setup you can try is pairing them with Cyrene, then going to Stainless. You could run something like EVANESCIA, Yaoguang, RMC, and Cyrene. Ideally you would want Cyrene at E2 since it takes longer to build her ultimate at E0. When she uses her ult for the first time, it triggers all ultimates in the party, meaning EVANESCIA can immediately double ult. Overall, EVANESCIA's team options actually pretty flexible. If you don't have Yaoguang, you can still make it work with alternatives like Sparkle or Sunday. So that's all from EVANESCIA's best character synergy or team members. And what kind of team will you use for her in the future? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button to support Catboloni. Turn on notification as well so you won't be missing out on any of my Star Rail content. I will see you guys at my next one. Bye bye!